Hello YouTube, Bob Reese with my October update. A few things going on. As you can see, the fish are doing pretty good. The water's got some particles floating around in it because I just did a water change about 2 hours ago. And as you can see, the fish are just doing great. I had one guy for a while put in the hospital tank. It's this guy right there, just went across the screen, the blue orchid. He was getting beat up pretty good by everybody, so I took him out and put him in the tank for a while, and he recovered really nicely. Put some Mellifex in there, and I'm real happy with his progress. I've got the camera a little bit closer to the tank today so that we can get some better pictures of the fish. And while we're looking at them, I'll talk to you about a change I've made to the tank. I added a temperature controller to the heater because of the videos that I've been seeing lately on YouTube where people's heaters have been superheating, for lack of a better word, and cooking their fish. So I ordered two of these things, one for this tank and one for my community tank. And basically what they'll do is if the temperature gets too high, they'll shut the tank down. They are Celsius only, so I had to convert that to Fahrenheit, and everything's good. Got the tank set at 26 degrees Celsius. I picked up another tank this summer, and it's been here for a while for the past few videos, and I figured tonight's as good as any to show you guys some video of that. It's not the best video in the world, but we'll cut to that here in a bit. And I'm going to show you some books that I have been collecting since I started this, because I am terrible at the scientific names of these fish, and I need to start knowing them, and I need to know more about each individual fish, how they behave, what they like to do, where they are from naturally, that kind of a thing. So I'm going to show you those books, and I'll show you the temperature controller for the tank, and I'm going to show you my white lips with the update on that little guy. So here we go. Let's go to the books. So here are my books. I've been having a hard time with my phone. It's been giving me some trouble, so let's see if we can get through this segment without any problems. On the lower left here is the first book that I got when I started my community tank. And I'll turn the camera this way to keep my shadow out of the way as best I can. And it got me started, and it did good for me. And it's typical stuff that I'm sure all of you guys have. It's just basically not much more than a pamphlet. But it got me going. And then along with YouTube videos and help from the community, which is incredible. And like I said in my previous videos, we didn't have any intention to go into cichlids, but you know, what do? We went into cichlids. So I got this book next, and this book is quite helpful. It helped me a lot. Then through the progression of both tanks, went on to this book here. Information on thousands of fish in here. It's incredible. It has information on how to take care of your tanks, maintenance, take care of your equipment, what temperatures, pHs, everything that fish need. It's a very comprehensive book, and I refer to it quite often when dealing with my fish. Yeah, it's just good stuff right here. Okay, so enough of that book. Then your fish get sick, you need something like this. And this book is pretty cool. It's got charts, you know, let's talk about brains and muscles right here. If your fish has cysts of various sizes and dark contents are found in the squash mounds of the brain substance, blah, blah, blah. You just follow the chart and go on from there. I mean, it's this stuff, a lot of it's above me, and I'm not going to dissect fish to find out what kind of microbial agents are in their brains. But this is pretty helpful on some of the more common maladies that your fish might have. So I think, you know, it's good to have a book like this around so you can diagnose your fish and figure out what to do with them. Next book that I got, the last one, so I can learn about my cichlids, is this one right here. Written by the same folks who wrote this atlas over here. This is a signed copy that I got actually fairly cheap. These books are quite expensive overall. But like I said in the opener for this video, I don't know enough about my fish. And I need to know more. There's my sick guy right there. And so that's why I have this book. It tells me about each fish that I have, and some that I wished I had, and some that I'm not even interested in. The fish are listed in here by lake and by genus in alphabetical order. So that's pretty cool. Talks about their behaviors in the wild and all kinds of stuff. All right, so there's my library, and the point of the whole thing here is that, in my opinion, hopefully I'm not offending anybody, but I think that, at least for me, I need to not rely so much on other people on YouTube. I need to start developing my own knowledge, and that's what I intend to do. I'm getting ready to retire here pretty soon, and I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands, and this is a great way to spend a little bit of that time. So I am never going to be an expert on cichlids, but I do want to be able to talk knowledgeably about my cichlids, and I don't want to use the common names all the time because that causes confusion. A good example of that is the intermedius. It has 2 names now. So we need to know what exactly we're talking about. Yellow blaze lithobates and the name Xeroc, same fish, 2 different names. And if we use the scientific name, we don't have any confusion. So that's kind of my goal here. But you guys do what you want. All right, so we talked about temperature controller in my tank. And this is what it is, right here. Okay, I got it from Drs. Foster's and Smith. And it's kind of, you know, you can see it looks kind of cheap, you know, from China, that kind of stuff. But at least I have something going. These are $25. It's in Celsius only. And I'm going to show that to you here shortly in the tank. But basically what I wanted to do is make sure that my heater doesn't overheat and cook my fish. So there's all the goodies that are on it, and it'll shut that heater off if it starts to get too hot. So there we go. Let's go over and take a look at the temperature controller back in the tank. Okay, here we are under the tank. 2 filters. The UPS system that we talked about in a previous video. It's right down here. Okay. And then up above it is the controller for the heaters. For the heater. There's one heater in there. It's showing 25 degrees Celsius, so it's just below 80 degrees. And I got it set to 26. So it should be heating the tank right now. This is what's running the heater. The heater is plugged into this. This controls everything. So this is the brains. I'm not using the thermostat on the heater anymore. So there we go. And there's the output on the UPS. If you guys want to go back to that video and take a look at that. Alright. Now let's go get an update on the white lips. Okay. And this is a 10-gallon tank. This is what I had my sick fish in here, getting him a little bit better, getting him healthier after getting beat up. Let's try and get this thing to focus. on this little guy back in here. And he is about, total length, I'd say he's about 3 inches. But he's not big enough to be put in there with the big tank, with the big boys. So I got him in here, and we're going to grow him out some more. Bigger tank, feeding him, you know, fairly frequently. Giving him some flakes every once in a while for a snack, just keeping him hungry and stuffing him with some food. Not going too crazy. I don't want to give him bloat or anything. But, yeah, that's him. Let me see if I can get him to come out a little bit. A little bit of glare. That's a piece of coral that I found down in Florida that I put in here so I can keep the pH up a little bit in the tank. But yeah, that's the white lips, and he's doing all right. I just need to get some more length on that guy, get him a little bit more age on him, and then we're going to dump him in the big tank. All right, so let's talk about my other tanks that I have waiting downstairs in the basement. Okay, so we're down in the basement. This camera is having a hard time focusing. What you're looking at is a 220-gallon oceanic tank. My guess on this thing is that it's got to be 30 years old. There's not a tag down in the bottom to tell us how old it is. The cat's trying to tell me. But I'm going to guess this thing's at least 30 years old. It needs a lot of work. The glass has a lot of hard water staining on it. And it's going to be a while. I'm going to say a year before this thing gets up and running. And I have some big plans for this thing. Talking to Adam C. There's a clue. I got this thing for $200. And the guy had several of them. He had two 220s. One of them was set up for a sump system. And I'm not familiar all that well with sumps. So I passed on the one that was set up for the sump. So he just wanted to get rid of this also. So he gave me this 100 also. It's oceanic as well. And I've got video already cut where I've cleaned these up because they were pretty rough. And they still are. They need a lot of work. I'm not going to bore you too much with these, but like I said, I've already cleaned them up some and they need more work. But I'm really looking forward to this. All right, back upstairs. Okay, so here we are back at the tank for a quick recap of what we talked about. Everybody in here is doing really well. I'm going to hold this thing by hand and hopefully we can get some decent pictures of these fish while I'm talking here. And everybody's doing great. There's the blue orchid that was sick. He's out of focus. And he recovered pretty nice with the Mellifix. But his fins were beat up pretty badly. Jay Wilson, if you watched his video about fish coloring down, that is my red empress. And if you guys watched the earlier videos a few months back, he had some great color on him. Now he just looks like a giant juvenile. He's colored down a lot. And why? Because of this. Because of this. Somewhat because of this. And a lot because of this. This guy right here is a jerk. But that's alright. That's what cichlids do, right? They're mean to each other and we try to temper that as best we can. And boy, that guy's starting to get some color, ain't he? And yeah, you know, we do the best that we can with these things, and they're gonna color down. Some of them are gonna take a long time, like this guy. Remember that video? Anyway, we're getting a little bit long here on this video, but I would really like to get this guy up here in the top to come around. He is my yellow blaze lithobates, and if you go back and look at just the last video, he did not have the color that's starting to come through on him now. So he's starting to get a little maturity on him. Getting some blue around the gills, around his face. Can't wait till that blaze shows up at some point. Anyway, sorry for the video being so long, but it's been a while since I posted, so I thought I'd go for the gusto on this one. That one I think is going to be a sunshine. We all know how I love this guy right here. He's just Mr. Mellow. And redfin borlei in the back, my glare that I can't avoid apparently lately. I hope everybody's doing well. That's it for my update. We'll put this together, and we'll talk at you later.